University. Radio Chingalo, restoring everything in Christ with love and truth. Good afternoon with the main news. My name is Kennedy Mbewe Jr. Kindly be informed that we are also streaming live on both the Radio Chingalo Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And here are the headlines. Government to give out 5,000 land titles. Chiefs advised, and in Changa Rangers midfielder Kundankandu urges teammates not to lose focus. The details. Government intends to give out 5,000 land titles to property owners across the country by the end of the current 7th National Development Plan 7 NDP. Lands and Natural Resources Minister Jean Kapata said the ministry has embarked on a program aimed at sensitizing stakeholders on the national titling program. Ms. Kapata said this when she paid a courtesy call on the Copperbelt Permanent Secretary Bright Nundwe in Indola yesterday. And Ms. Kapata further said the mines are not going to be titled from the Copperbelt office because the province only has one registrar, whereas Lusaka has got several.
Different fields in the ministry so that people get to understand that together we can work and achieve the national titling program. We intend to give about 5 million titles in the next 7 years by the end of the 7th National Development Plan. We have given about 5 million titles.
And Mr. Nundwe said land titling will add value to the economy of the country as government will generate resources from the exercise.
May have 1 or 2 lapses, but I've got a very powerful team. Land is very delicate, and there must be proper information. Land is not just along the line of rail. The chiefs are even willing to give free pieces of land. I think they're still allowed to give about 250 hectares and below. Get a piece of land. I think you're already working on that, but there's always the beginning. Otherwise, Minister, we are excited as a province that we are going to go this very important, excellent, splendid exercise.
A clergyman in Chingola is discouraging chiefs from engaging in partisan politics ahead of the 2021 general elections. Life Gospel Fellowship Ministries International Presiding Bishop Joseph Kajala regrets that some chiefs have started endorsing presidential candidates ahead of next year's polls. Speaking to Radio Chinga News in Chingola, Bishop Kajala reminded chiefs that taking a partisan stance can create anarchy in chiefdoms.
The cultures of the land. These are respectable portfolios which are inherited. They are not voted into the office. They inherit the chieftains. And so, in whatever chiefdom, there are people who apply for different affiliations. And the chief is like the leader of the chiefdom. So his voice must be impartial. He or she may have leaning towards a certain political, but they should guard against coming out to say, this is the direction, everyone must run this way. So if they did that, they're becoming dictators. And dictators have no room in a democracy. So in short, if they could do that, they are cheapening themselves and they're cheapening the chieftainess.
Moving on, energy expert Johnstone Achkwanda has encouraged the government to remain focused as they embark on various developmental projects in the energy sector. Yesterday, government launched the 2020-2023 Economic Recovery Program meant to address various challenges in the different sectors of the economy. Speaking to Radio Chingla News today, Mr. Achkwanda said such plans are encouraging, especially that this will guarantee efficiency in return on investment and growth in the energy sector. He cited the renegotiating of tariffs with the independent power producers and the revision of pricing mechanisms in petroleum subsector as some of the recovery plans that will help address various pertinent issues in the energy industry.
Energy sector reforms will continue and shall include urgently the revision of pricing mechanism in the petroleum subsector. This is answered prayer. Completion of the cost of service study by March 2021. Renegotiating of tariffs with independent power producers. As you know, the cost of off-taking electricity from independent power producers is very high compared with the price at which ZESCO is selling the same to different consumer demographics. Of course, this will be aligned with the outcome of the cost of service study from the consultants. Completion of ZESCO reforms by the end of 2021. Completion and commissioning of Kafue Gorge Lower Power Project by end 2021.
Nkana constituency aspiring candidate Poch Sunka says that he is ready to represent the electorate effectively once given the mandate to be a member of parliament. Mr. Sunka said, being brought up in Nkana constituency, he understands the challenges people go through. He also said he would come up with a different strategy by ensuring that people take part in developmental projects. Mr. Sunka spoke to Radio Chingla News yesterday after aspiring candidates met with PF Kitwe district officials.
The people of Nkana constituency at heart. So I would like to fight for them, to speak for them, and help formulate laws and policies which will favor the people of Nkana constituency. People should have confidence in me because I'm coming in with a different dimension. In the past, the role of an MP has been overshadowed. People want to use the money from their pockets and do all sorts of things, which is not correct. The role of an MP is to stand for the people, speak for the people, fight for the laws that we are going to favor the people, and people should have access to social amenities.
And PF Kitwe District Women Chairperson Alice Siabula said she is eyeing for the mayoral seat in the 2021 general elections so that women can also have a voice. Ms. Siabula said women should also take up leadership positions and not just leave the mantle to the men folk. Speaking to Radio Chingla News, Ms. Siabula has also promised to continue pushing for more women empowerment programs. Others intending to stand on mayoral position under PF include Kawama Ward Councillor Boniface Kaunga, his Riverside counterpart, who is also Deputy Mayor Chando Mbao, Ipusukilo Ward Councillor Mangosata, and Livan Mukuka. The Catholic bishops of Ghana have called for peace amid unrest following national elections earlier this month. The vote saw the re-election of the incumbent president, though his challenger has yet to concede the election. According to the Catholic News Agency website, Archbishop Philip Name of Tamale, who spoke on behalf of the conference, called on all stakeholders to exhibit maturity in accepting both defeat and victory. Archbishop Name stated that in every competition there are bound to be winners and losers, hence reactions to any of the two conditions would be measured, modest, and charitable towards one another. To sport now, Nshanga Rangers midfielder Kunda Nkandu has urged her teammates not to lose focus but keep on fighting for Premier League football. Nkandu said with team spirit and hard work, Nshanga will win a promotion to the Super Division. He, however, expressed worry over his team's failure to utilize the scoring opportunities. Kunda Nkandu, Nshanga Rangers attacking midfielder. This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Chingala with compliments of Moose Milling and Zambia Catholic University. International news as monitored from the BBC. The number of civilians forced from their homes by conflict in northern Mozambique has quadrupled this year to 420,000, according to the United Nations. It links the crisis in Cabo Delgado province not just to attacks by Islamist militants, but to a perceived failure to distribute vast mineral and offshore gas revenues to the local population. A senior UN Refugee Agency official visiting Cabo Delgado described the situation there as really dire and urged Mozambique's neighbors and the wider international community to intervene in what she said had been for too long an invisible crisis. UNHCR's Deputy Director of Southern Africa, Angele Dikange Atangana, told the BBC from Cabo Delgado that the figures were growing as days go by and that the situation is liable to deteriorate. Guinea's opposition party Union of Democratic Forces of Guinea, UFDG, has announced the death of one of its detained spokespersons, Roger Bamba, who was detained in September just before the October pause, was taken to the hospital on Wednesday but died that evening. A member of the party's communications unit, Joachim Baba Mili Mono, announced the death of Roger Bamba, who was detained and held without trial at the central prison, Conde regime's famous prison. And finally, the U.S. Energy Department is the latest agency to confirm it has been breached in what is being described as the worst ever hack on the U.S. government. The department is